2026 could be the year you stop thinking of lost civilizations as distant myths, because Saeftinghe was real. And its story is not just history. It is tragedy, horror, and a haunting reminder of nature's unrelenting power. Beneath layers of marshland, mud, and brackish tidal waters lies what was once a thriving human settlement. Villages, farms, churches, and even a castle, all painstakingly built on reclaimed land wrested from the sea. But the sea never forgets. Over centuries, tides rose, dikes failed, and slowly, inexorably, the waters claimed the land. Saeftinghe vanished, an empire of soil, labor, hope, and lives swallowed whole. Saeftinghe occupied a strategic but precarious location at the confluence of the Scheldt River and the North Sea, in what is now eastern Zeelandic Flanders, straddling the Belgian-Dutch border. Its fertile marshes were prime for settlement, but only if one could control the water. For centuries, monks and farmers undertook the enormous labor of draining the peat-rich marshes, constructing dikes and building polders. Carefully engineered land reclaimed from what was, for most of the year, treacherous tidal wetlands. By the 13th and 14th centuries, under the careful oversight of the Abbey of Terduist, Saeftinghe had blossomed into a prosperous hub. Its economy thrived on agriculture, peat burning, salt extraction, and trade, facilitated by the network of waterways threading through the reclaimed lands. Small villages clustered around the imposing Saeftinghe castle, which stood as both a guardian of the region and a toll station for merchants navigating the western Scheldt. By all accounts, Saeftinghe's prosperity was exceptional. It was considered one of the richest settlements in the region, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. Yet wealth brought its own dangers. The more the land was drained and cultivated, the lower it sank beneath sea level. The peat soil compressed and subsided, making the dikes fragile, the polders vulnerable. One storm, one breach of human oversight, could, and ultimately did, spell disaster. That disaster struck on November 1st, 1570. Known as the All Saints' Flood, a violent storm surge tore through the Dutch coast. The sea rushed inland with a ferocity few could withstand. Villages around Saeftinghe disappeared in minutes. Farms, homes, livestock, everything was swept away by tidal waters that surged with deadly force. Entire communities vanished, buried beneath mud and silt, leaving nothing but the echo of human ambition. For survivors, the flood was a terrifying glimpse of nature's dominion, a reminder that no amount of labor, planning, or engineering could fully contain the sea. For decades afterward, the resilient inhabitants of Saeftinghe struggled to rebuild. They repaired dikes, replanted fields, and restored homes, refusing to surrender their reclaimed land. But fate, as if conspiring against them, had other plans. During the 80 Years' War in 1584, Dutch troops, desperate to protect Antwerp from Spanish forces, deliberately breached the last remaining dike shielding Saeftinghe. Their strategic decision was meant to slow the enemy, but it sealed the fate of the drowned land. Water poured in, irreversibly flooding the settlement. Saeftinghe and its surrounding villages were gone, entombed beneath the shifting tides, their streets, churches, and castle erased from the surface of the earth. Today, the Drowned Land of Saeftinghe is an expansive tidal marsh, one of Europe's largest brackish wetlands. Thousands of hectares of creeks, channels, salt flats, and mud flats stretch across the area where villages once flourished. At low tide, the outlines of sunken fields and ditches can still be discerned, faint, skeletal reminders of a civilization swallowed by water. Archaeologists and historians continue to uncover fragments of Saeftinghe's past, bricks believed to have come from the castle, shards of pottery, and traces of medieval settlements buried beneath centuries of mud and silt. Yet despite these discoveries, the full extent of Saeftinghe remains hidden. Roads, walls, and homes lie buried, their exact locations lost to history, leaving only fragments and whispered stories to speak of human resilience and failure. The story of Saeftinghe is not only one of environmental tragedy and strategic warfare. Over time, it has become a legend. Local folklore tells of curses and supernatural vengeance. Phantom bells are said to toll on foggy nights. Ghostly figures drift through mist and over mudflats, the spirits of drowned villagers wandering the wetlands for eternity. Some tales suggest that the disaster was punishment for human hubris, arrogance, greed, and cruelty toward migrants or the poor invoked the wrath of nature itself. Others speak of mermaids, eerie lights over the water, and mysterious sounds that echo across the flats at night. Ships passing nearby at dusk sometimes report strange fogs, disembodied voices, and the fleeting sensation of unseen eyes watching from the marshes. These stories, whether superstition or residual memory, keep the vanished civilization alive in the imagination. Even today, the drowned land of Saeftinghe is a place of haunting beauty and stark lessons. The marshlands, creeks, and grassy flats teem with life, birds, fish, and tidal flora. Yet beneath this seeming serenity lies the invisible skeleton of a vanished empire. Walk these flats at low tide and it is easy to imagine the echoes of daily life. Footsteps along narrow streets, the laughter of children, the clatter of carts on muddy roads, the distant tolling of church bells now drowned. Every tide carries the memory of lives lived and lost, of homes and farms that once stood defiantly against the encroaching sea. The geography itself tells a story. Sandbanks and tidal channels constantly shift, creating treacherous footing and hidden quagmires. One misstep can swallow a foot, leaving an eerie, tactile connection to the past. The ebb and flow of the tide mimic the memory of Saeftinghe, a rise of human ambition followed by the inevitable reclamation of the land by water. Nature, patient and inexorable, remains the true master here. If horror is defined by truth plus the unknown, then Saeftinghe is a textbook case. A medieval community, vibrant and prosperous, erased almost entirely by water. A marshland that occasionally reveals glimpses of its lost history. The curve of a buried ditch, a fragment of masonry, a shard of pottery hinting at the homes and lives that once thrived here. It is a place where the force of nature can be felt as tangibly as the soil beneath your feet, where the past lingers like a shadow beneath the mud and salt water. Saeftinghe also serves as a chilling reminder of humanity's vulnerability. The drowned land was reclaimed with labor, skill, and determination. It flourished for centuries, only to be undone in moments by floods, storms, and war. Even today, the tides shift over sunken streets and farms that no longer exist, reminding visitors that human plans, no matter how ambitious, are fleeting. The area is not just a history lesson. It is a living testament to the delicate balance between man and nature, and the price of ignoring it. And so, for those who wander the mudflats of Zealand near the western Scheldt, vigilance is essential. Watch the tide, tread carefully, and remember the stories beneath the surface. The land you walk on could have echoed with life, laughter, and labor before it was swallowed by the sea. The ghosts of Saeftinghe are silent now, but they are never gone. Every gust of wind across the marsh, every ripple in a channel, every shadow cast over the flats carries a whisper of human endeavor humbled by forces far beyond its control. Saeftinghe is not legend. It is not a cautionary tale for children alone. It is a vanished empire, a real civilization lost to the tides, a civilization whose story continues to whisper warnings to anyone willing to listen. Every storm, every tide, every shifting mudflat carries the memory of human ambition humbled, reminding us that the sea always remembers. In Saeftinghe, history and myth merge. The medieval castle, the vanished villages, the drowned roads, and the marshes themselves tell a story of ingenuity, resilience, and ultimate vulnerability. The drowned land is both a natural wonder and a silent graveyard, a place where human dreams meet nature's inexorable power. And as long as the tides continue to rise and fall, Saeftinghe will remain a haunting testament. If this story of Saeftinghe captivated you, make sure to subscribe for more tales of lost civilizations, hidden history, and mysteries of the past.